This is my entry for PAX Stereo Conspiracy Wednesday, or Political Wednesday, however you want to call it. Just a few thoughts off the top of the dome, just from my perspective on events of the day. First off, I want to talk about one conspiracy that I think is floating out there, and that's the efforts to not get President Obama elected. What the Tea Party and the conservatives and Republicans are trying to do is basically do whatever they can or don't do whatever to make it so that President Obama does not get reelected. How are they going to go about doing that? Well, you got an economy that's going in the tanks. A lot of people out of work, so of course they're going to place all the blame on Obama. Also, you know, he's presented this jobs package, this jobs bill, which they plan on not voting for because they think it'll give him a win. If it turns the economy around and produces jobs, makes Obama look good, and they don't want to do that. So it probably won't come to vote. One problem they're going to have is if they don't bring that jobs package to vote by the end of this year, before they go on recess, on holiday recess, it's going to make them look real bad. It's going to make them look like they haven't made any efforts to do anything about the economy. Essentially, the Republicans have been obstructionists for the past 2 years to make it so that Obama doesn't look good. Has Obama made some mistakes? Yes. Is he what we expected? Probably not. But I don't think it's enough to say I wouldn't vote for him next election. I'm done with Obama. He hasn't done enough for me. I'm not of that mindset. I'm also not in that same camp as Tavis Smiley and Cornel West, saying that he hasn't done enough for the poor and disenfranchised and people of color. Obama's the president of the United States. He's not the president of African Americans, the president of Latinos. He's the president of all Americans. I think he's made some great strides. I think passing the health care bill is a great stride. The fact that we've captured the boogeyman, Osama bin Laden, Anwar al-Awlaki, I think those are great strides and great feathers in his cap in his administration. But I'm also of the mindset that, you know, in my lifetime, what president has really made a difference in my life and in my pocketbook or in my wallet, I can't really say and pick any one particular president that's made a difference in my economy, my personal economy. So I really didn't have that expectation of change so much in terms of my lifestyle is going to drastically change because Obama isn't the president. I also am the mindset of the change that I see, the change that was really promised was just a change in the mindset and the perspective of having an African American man in the White House. I think, and this is just my personal opinion, if he does nothing else from now on in his term, that to me is a big deal. Just having an African American male in the White House with an intact family, a loving, supportive wife, bright, intelligent children who love him to death. That image will never be erased from history, and that represents the change to me. And for my children and my grandchildren behind me, just that image and that history that will be left in the textbooks for them to read, that's a big enough change for me. That's my perspective on Obama. I voted for him. I worked in the campaign. I worked tirelessly in the campaign, and I would do so again in a heartbeat. The other thing off the top of the dome that I want to talk about is military spending, defense budget. My personal opinion is if we got out of the two wars that we're in, Afghanistan, pulled out of Iraq, and if you want to call Libya a third war, I guess we can call it that. We don't even know why we're there, and what's the end game in Afghanistan. But the money that we're spending on those 2-3 wars, if we just pulled out of there and came home, we would be able to boost the economy, repair the crumbling infrastructure in America. Those are things that are desperately needed. I just think there's a imbalance in the defense budget and military spending versus what's happening back in America and what's happening to the people of America. And I have friends and family in the military and in defense, working for defense contractors, so I understand the implications of that. But I think maybe those individuals and those people that work for defense contractors can maybe retool and they can be the ones that make the change and make the improvement in the infrastructure. Example of exorbitant military spending, we have a plane, I think it's the F-20 or F-22, I'm not sure the exact name or number, but it's a high-tech plane that has never really flown in combat, it's never really flown in battle, it's never been used to kill anybody. One of the theories, and this plane is hundreds of millions of dollars, one of the theories why it's never flown in battle is because we're afraid that it might get shot down, and then if it gets shot down, the technology would be available to our enemy combatants, and it's so high-tech that we don't want to release that technology, thus we don't fly it in battle. To me, that's $100 million boondoggle. What's the point of that? I don't get that. When Americans are suffering, I don't get that. The last point I wanted to make was concerning the Occupy Wall Street movement, and I know you guys were talking about that last week. There's a theory and there's a common thread that's saying this is misguided, that people don't know what they're out there protesting for. I don't know if I aspire to that theory. The people do know what they're out there for. They're protesting against banks and corporations and the imbalance of wealth in this country. You don't see this being broadcast on the media, but I don't think that's a problem in this day and age. I think with the availability of the internet, and everyone has a video camera or some type of camera available to them, it it's going to be broadcast on the internet, whether the major networks pick it up or not.